So we wake up, it's the first thing we see. We go to bed, it's the last thing we see. We are constantly being consumed by it, letting it control our daily lives. We can't do anything without checking it every minute. What is it, you may ask? Social media. Did you know that an average American spends roughly 6 hours per day looking at their cell phone and half of that time being spent on social media apps? This estimates to about 11 years of your lifetime spent looking down at a screen. Can we even begin to imagine the repercussions we may face down the line? Probably, but we don't even have to because they are currently happening as we speak. Today I'm going to be going over why we should limit our social media usage. We're going to be covering why it may be so addictive, how detrimental it can be to our overall health, and some solutions and ways we can overcome these problems. To begin, we'll probably wonder why social media is so addicting. It has been found that being on social media, your brain is constantly being rewarded. Something alarming that was mentioned in Insider's article, they stated that several employees of Apple, Google, and Facebook have warned that large tech companies deliberately design apps to be addictive. The logic is simple. The more time you spend on the app, the more profit it generates. So they try to maximize the screen time, which leads to obviously higher profit, and it's regardless of the user's mental health. We are receiving dopamine, and it's increasing the secretion of that hormone that's being sent to the brain. And many that have this addiction may suffer with low self-esteem and even hyperactivity. The constant notifications, likes, and even comments that we see on these posts keep many coming back. The feeling you get of attention and satisfaction can cause an even stronger addiction. Besides strong addiction, there are many other factors that can be left untreated. Identifying the user's physical and mental health can be a step in the right direction. According to Price Mitchell's article, in the past several years, more studies have linked to social media to poor mental health. According to a recent Forbes article, several studies have not only shown a correlation but also a causation. Findings suggest that people who limit social media to 30 minutes daily feel significantly better than those who use social media for longer periods of time. By reducing time spent, people were able to reduce depression, anxiety, and even loneliness. So the reason your mental health can diminish is because you're constantly comparing yourself to others online as well. We have created a perfect and unrealistic world on social media that is even hard for ourselves to keep up with. We are constantly striving to be perfect, which is also very unachievable and leaves many unhappy. We can be so consumed with our life online that we don't even seem to communicate with people outside of the online community. Many end up lonely and don't even consider themselves having real, genuine friends. The pressure leads to anxiety and down a bigger rabbit hole than we initially thought. Our physical health goes hands in hand with also mental health. According to the Physio Company's article, carpal tunnel syndrome is another example of an effect that we can see already. Constantly using hands, usually in extremely repetitive motions, has led to a huge increase in the prevalence of carpal tunnel syndrome. A study published in 2015 found that as well as carpal tunnel syndrome, smartphone overuse can cause thumb pain, median nerve pain, which is also known as palm pain, and a reduced strength and function in the hand. So after being on your cell phone for hours, you can notice that your thumbs are sore and even you'll have a small indentation on your pinky from holding it for so long. With the addiction of, on average, being on your phone for about 6 hours a day, it will lead to absolutely no physical activity. It is important to move your body constantly, and being on social media will lessen the chances of you getting any type of exercise in. No physical activity or even sunlight can lead to depression and anxiety. This is why your overall health can be at risk with just a simple app that many use to communicate. The first solution to these issues is setting your screen time to reduce your usage. So we have a lot of users such as Google Tools and Apple, which have both added features to their devices that will now allow you to monitor your screen time. And with that, you can even set a timer for each application, which will gray out once your time is up. This will also allow you to no longer use the app unless you change it in your settings. So in the New York Times article, they stated that the first components of iOS screen time is a time tracker. In your device's settings, you can find a chart that shows you when you're using your device most, how many times you pick up your device, and which apps you're using the most. It also shows you how many notifications you get from each app, so you can find out which apps are interrupting you during the most of that day. So, I believe that this is the most effective solution, if you ask me. But in addition, we have other solutions that we can also use. We can also make a schedule for our free time to not overconsume it in one certain thing. And what I mean by this is the solution can just really promote a healthy lifestyle, because not only are you scheduling your time, but you're also reclaiming your time. In the Times article, they stated, you are likely to find yourself with longer periods of time to fill. In order to keep yourself from reverting to your phone to entertain you, it's essential that you decide on several activities you'd like to use its time for. And then set up your environment to make it more likely that you'll stick to these intentions. So what this quote is basically referring to is that you should use the time spent on your cell phone and put it and repurpose it into other things. And what I mean by that is you can get a planner and get in the habit of constantly writing in it. We have consumed the digital world for such a long time that many have forgotten what it's like to write down simple tasks in a planner. So you can reschedule time for exercise, hobbies, schoolwork, cleaning, and even fewer time spent on your cell phone, or fewer hours spent on your cell phone. The satisfaction we get constantly from notifications, likes, and comments, we can get from crossing off tasks we've already completed. We can now prioritize a new lifestyle with meaning instead of spending hours interacting with people through unrealistic applications on our cell phone. Overall, I believe that many can ease themselves off their addiction with some minor changes in their lifestyle. With social media being such a significant part of this digital age, it's really hard to ignore it. We discussed the negative effects of this usage, and I mentioned some relatable points for the audience. The solution to this issue is what many of us can take away. Therapy has also been an outlet for many to overcome the mental illness they faced with the long-term usage of social media. I can only hope we use these applications for good. Now I challenge you to implement these effective exercises into your daily life. Thank you for watching.